Thank you truly for including me in this. And after hearing all of the stories, I feel definitely unqualified, but the Red Cross is an organization that I'm a huge fan of personally, and then be able to contribute in any way, I'm certainly happy to. So I guess I'll just again, this was my first deployment ever with the Red Cross, so I'll just I guess share a little bit of background about how that even came to be. Um, I work in production in Los Angeles. That's not very surprising. There's a lot of us. We shut down your streets. We are responsible for keeping you where you want to go, and we're very sorry about that. We also provided you a lot of content during quarantine, so it's that kind of ebb and flow. But much like everybody else, when this started to escalate and COVID kind of hit and impacted all of our jobs in different ways. For me, it was March the 13th, Friday the 13th was when our industry kind of shut down. And it's something that dominated my life. My job did. It was 12 to 18 hours a day, 5 days a week, sometimes six, depending upon the schedule. So I was used to the go, go, go on location. Just kept me just moving and moving. And then all of a sudden it came to a stop. And so I had nothing but time on my hands. I was one of the fortunate ones that I did not have to figure out Zoom school for kids. I don't have children, and God bless all of you who had to figure that out during this time. That was huge. So when the grab and go district started and the Red Cross paired with them, it was just like, it was my zone. It was back out there. It was in the elements. It was early days. It was, moving and moving and, didn't know what was coming next. And I was right back in my element, and it's just something that suited me. And I just remember my first day, I picked Lincoln High School out of, I didn't know the area. It just was like I looked on the map closest to me, and it kind of gave you a description, and you took your class on what the day was going to be like. And this was still an evolving process. This was still like day one of this operation, both for the school and for the Red Cross. This was kind of a unique thing to kind of start watching unfold. And from the moment that at least that I got there, and I'm sure everybody else involved in this one, you can see the need was great. The food came from the school districts, and then when school all of a sudden stopped, these kids and these families that were on the free lunch program and the free breakfast program, their food stopped. And the parents that didn't have in their budget this Monday through Friday food, it didn't automatically, the 600 benefit that it helped everybody in California had not kicked in yet. Those things were still being talked about. This was just an amount of people who, like Victoria was sharing in her story, there's a huge food insecurity here, and even that I was completely unaware of. So to see this line start immediately, I don't even know how the word started. Like truly from day one, as soon as excuse me, as soon as they said we were moving the food from the cafeterias to outside to make it safe, they found a way to do it, and the families lined up. And so it was just kind of like go, 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 day after day. We're there. We boxed up the breakfast, and then they had lunch, and the families would give us the numbers, and then we would, at first it was we could put it in the trunk, and then somebody else would close the door, and then it was that wasn't the safest anymore. So then it was we put the food on the table, and the people would come out and they would grab it, and we'd stand 6 feet back, because everything, it was all about taking the right precautions. And it was about, these families needed food, but they needed it safely, and they needed it in a time where all of these operations were changing and evolving. So it was, everybody was taking this so seriously, and everybody wanted to keep going. So things like even stuff we would do after hours, we had to make sure that we were safe and not bringing this into this environment and not contaminating these families in this operation. So it felt big, and it felt like we were able to be a part of something and to see. And as the numbers would rise in the city, and as the closures would affect different things, we could see the line expanding. We could see the amount of food that we were given to these families. And we had families that were there. I was the part of that. I was privileged to be a part of it truly for 4 months, until my job kind of came back and I was absorbed back into that whirlwind. But every single day, Monday through Friday, I was able to see some of the same faces. The kids and the families, and the kids would like write notes and hold them up in the windows of cars, and they drive by, and we'd see the step up of the community in terms of organization donating things. This was this grab and go also became a pipeline to get things to people who needed it. So yes, there was a food insecurity, but there were days where we had stuff like soccer balls for the kids and things that they could take home, and feminine products and diapers and these things that needed a place to go. We kind of became that pipeline to help in an area for people to come to, and the food bank started showing up, and it was a though we couldn't be together, this was truly the place to see community in action and to see the impact that little things that we were able to do. And for me, it was just time. It was just showing up. That's what I could contribute, and that's what I can give. And so to me, the people that I was able to meet there, the team leader that kept me coming back, Sherry, was the most wonderful human, and she took care of those volunteers and she made sure we felt valued. And she would help me when I didn't speak Spanish so well, and a lot of the community did. And I got to learn little bits and pieces, and it was nice. It was that though we couldn't be together, that's where we could, and that's where you could feel that spirit and that camaraderie and that family. And I know I feel like I'm still kind of going on, and I don't want to take up all the time, but I just am truly privileged that I got to see that, and that my first experience with the Red Cross was something wonderful. Nobody wants to be in the free food line, truly, in any aspect. And it's not a place that, you go and you celebrate and you have a good time. But at our pod, we played music and we smiled, and we were able to feed the need, but also to feed the love that it was to be able to contribute in a time like this. And it will always keep me coming back. And the opportunity that I had to connect with those people, and the friendships I made, that I would never have the opportunity to meet those people in any other circumstance. I mean, we're all from such different walks of life, that both the families that I got to meet during that time, the volunteers that were right there with me, and the school staff that just tirelessly worked to figure this out and to keep this going. It They're names that I will just cherish and always keep up with. And like I said, no other opportunity would have ever afforded this. So just thank you for what you guys do and how quickly you become plugged into these places of need, because it's so hugely special and awesome, and the need is great, and you're a wonderful organization, and this only goes to prove that. And thank you truly for letting me be a part of this, and for just being a small part of the Red Cross.